After the death of General Sani Abacha, Nigeria's most brutal military head of state and dictator, rumors spread around the entire country that he died after eating an apple given to him by two Indian prostitutes. In fact, it is alleged that his wife, Mariam Abacha, was behind this particular story. This is an excerpt from a newspaper publication back then which reads, "The CNC, as Abacha was generally referred to in Aso Rock, was rather unprepared for what his wife had to say, for unknown to him, she was aware through her own sources that another set of highly professional, highly paid Indian prostitutes, two this time and aged between 18 and 21, had been flown in from New Delhi to kill her husband." And in this video, we shall be telling you what truly happened to General Sani Abacha, bringing to you events of his very last day on earth and also his last words before he gave up the ghost. But before we begin, if you're new to our channel, you're highly welcome to Leroy Emi TV, and please do all to hit on that subscribe button. And do not forget to turn on the notification bell so you can always stay notified and updated whenever we upload a new video. And do all to watch this video to the very end so you don't miss out on any parts of the story. Without further ado, let's begin. Abacha's health suddenly collapsed on Sunday, June 7th, 1998, after one of the security personnel who accompanied President Yasser Arafat of Palestine shook hands with him at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja. Yasser Arafat made a brief stop at the Nnamdi Azikiwe Airport, Abuja, to see Abacha while on his way to Morocco with his delegation, and the whole problem started after Abacha shook one of Arafat's security personnel. Al-Mustafa, his then chief security officer, noticed a change in Abacha's countenance and informed his aide-de-camp, Lieutenant Colonel Abdallah, who advised that they keep a close watch on him. Later that day, the air in Aso Rock, the Nigerian presidential villa, suddenly felt heavy with a strange tension. Major Hamza Al-Mustafa, who was the general's trusted bodyguard and his chief security officer, sensed something was wrong with his boss. General Abacha, the powerful leader of Nigeria, usually a picture of strength and confidence, seems different. On this day, he was restless. His usual swagger and confidence was gone. Abacha spent that evening working late, reviewing files and making calls, but something seems to be wrong somewhere. Al-Mustafa, worried about his master and boss, suggested a break, but the general refused, driven by an unknown urgency. Later, in a rare moment of vulnerability and helplessness, Abacha surprised Al-Mustafa by asking, "Have I been a good leader?" This was the first time Al-Mustafa had ever seen him question his legacy. Al-Mustafa, wanting to reassure Abacha, told him he was strong and has brought stability to Nigeria and the people of Nigeria. But the general seemed troubled. He wondered if this stability came at a terrible cost. Perhaps he was having a second thought about his actions as the leader and head of state of Nigeria. Then abruptly, Abacha pulled himself together and his usual strength returned. He declared they had more work to do and he retreated to his private quarters at the villa. He was still feeling uneasy and restless, and around 6 p.m. that evening, his doctor was called to come check on him. Around 6 p.m., Abacha's doctor came and administered an injection to stabilize him. He was advised to have a short rest. By 9 p.m., Abacha was feeling better and receiving visitors until General Jeremiah Hussaini, the then minister of the Federal Capital Territory, came to see him. And around 5 a.m. on the 8th day of June 1998, Al-Mustafa got a call that the president was dying. The general was having a seizure, much worse than any he had ever experienced. Al-Mustafa suspected a coup plot when he was informed that Abacha was very unstable at 5 a.m. and he devised a means of diverting the attention of the security boys from his escape route. When he got to Abacha's bedside, he was already gasping, and after knocking at the stool beside the bed and shouting, he realized that there was danger. He called Abacha's personal physician, Dr. Wali, who arrived in 8 minutes and gave Abacha 2 doses of injection, one at the heart and another close to his neck, but it did not work, and Abacha had turned very cold. Dr. Wali confirmed that Abacha was dead, and Al-Mustafa secured the area and informed Abacha's wife. Abacha died before sunrise on the 8th day of June 1998. Al-Mustafa then used their special communication gadget to diplomatically invite the service chiefs, military governors, and some few elements to a meeting with the head of state by 9 a.m. at the council chamber to avoid a succession crisis. The news of the Abacha's death plunged the nation into chaos. Conspiracy theories swirled, but the cause of the death remained shrouded in mystery. People were celebrating Abacha's death. Everyone wanted to know the general's last words. However, Abacha's last words were simply enough of this introspection, referring to his questioning of his own leadership. It finally dawned on him that he was a ruthless dictator, hated by his own people. But this self-reflection was too late. There was nothing he could do because he was only few hours from his grave. General Abacha's death left a lot of questions unanswered. Did he regret his actions? His last night was a mystery, and his legacy as a leader remains a subject of hot debate. Sani Abacha, the Nigerian military leader who ruled the country with an iron fist from 1993 to 1998, met his untimely demise on June 8, 1998 in Abuja, the capital city of Nigeria. His death marked the end of a brutal regime that was characterized by human rights abuses, corruption, and political repression. Abacha's rise to power began in 1983 when he was a key player in the military coup that overthrew the government of President Shehu Shagari. He later became the chief of army staff and eventually seized power in 1993 after the military annulled the presidential election won by Moshood Abiola. During his regime, Abacha ruled with absolute power, suppressing any form of opposition. He banned political parties, shut down newspapers, and imprisoned critics, including politicians, journalists, and human rights activists. His regime was notorious for its brutality, with reports of extrajudicial killings, torture, and arbitrary arrests.